Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's still the morning, just. We've got 20 minutes left of the morning. That means it's 10 a.m. ish. Anyway, welcome into twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads. My name is Graham D. I'm joined by the man that we call Bibby. We are Ice Cream Uploads, and in true ice creamy fashion, this is your scoop, your daily dose of news from the world of video games and beyond. I'll read Bib.
Hello, good morning.
Are you Baby Yoda up there? Is that your Mandalorian t-shirt that you've got on there?
It is, yeah. The thing is, in the morning, I usually just grab whatever's on the floor, basically what I've took off from the day before, and then realise when I sat here, I wore this yesterday on stream. I can't wear the same thing twice. That's not a hoodie or a jumper. So quickly ran into my room, ready for my drawers, seeing this at the top, and I was like, yeah, that's obviously what I'm going to be wearing. So, yeah, in light of your little sketch yesterday, highly appropriate.
I have literally no idea what you mean. He's pressing the Mandalorian flute button, by the way. I'd literally no idea. don't know what makes you say that.
I can't hear it, so yes, that's.
I feel like we are actually pretty much Mandalorian representing, because you've got your Mandalorian Baby Yoda / Grogu t-shirt on. I can see little Grogu on the shelf behind you. There's a Mandalorian helmet just here behind me, and because obviously I grabbed our Grogu for stream purposes yesterday, you can just about see the edge of Grogu on my screen there, the ear creeping out from behind Bibby's screen. So yeah, full on. And as well as that, there's an Iron Man helmet there. So Disney, if you wanna get in touch. I don't know why you would, because you're getting exposure for absolutely free without having to do any ad or spawn or whatever. But if you did want to spawn, then feel free to get involved. We probably won't say no. We're absolutely going to say yes anyway. But if you're in the chat, please feel free to get involved. We do go live on Twitch each and every single weekday at 10 a.m. ish. There's a substantial ish today. Let me boost Bibby's volume back up as well. I dropped it yesterday because it was quite loud, but it's not the loudest today, so it's good. So yeah, we go live on Twitch at 10 a.m. ish each and every single weekday, Monday to Friday, bringing you the biggest, the best, the breaking stories in the world of video games, because this is the UK's #1 video game podcast, even if we do say so ourselves. We're going to give you our thoughts and our impressions on the biggest, the best breaking stories, but we want your thoughts and your impressions, and then your thoughts and your impressions on our thoughts and our impressions. Please do get involved in the chat, because we turn this live stream into a podcast, a video that goes on YouTube, and an audio podcast that goes on iTunes and Spotify, SoundCloud, and Google Play. So lots of people watch and listen to this on demand, all of them. But they don't get involved in the chat, so you get to do that on their behalf. So please feel free to get involved in the chat. Before we do start, a couple of things to mention. First of all, ! loot drop. Just a reminder that subscribers get prizes, or potentially, anyway. ! loot drop in the chat if you want to find out any more information on that. As well as that, ! voice mod. You may have seen the clip that Bibby was referencing yesterday of me wearing the Mandalorian helmet, getting my full-on Grogu on. Well, that was powered by voice mod. If you haven't seen it, let me drop you the clip into the chat. There you go. It's like 15. No, it's not even that. It's 11 seconds of your life. Fill your boots. So yeah, feel free. Check it out. Anyway, we are now VoiceMod affiliates. We have partnered with the people at VoiceMod. So yeah, we get kickbacks if anyone likes our stuff. We've led to a few people getting VoiceMod. Now there's just a way that we can do that gets us a little bit of revenue back into the stream as well. So if you've seen me tinkering with VoiceMod and you think, actually, I could do with that, then make sure you use our link. It is linked in that chat, in that tweet, but it's also ! Voice mod? Nope, it's not working. Great, nice. Is my chatbot disconnected? Connect? Yes. It's connected. Okay, let me try again. ! Voice mod. Boom, there we go. That is our link in there. So if anyone does want it, feel free to get it. It's free to get, so if you want to try it and play with it, it's fine. It's only when you get the pro version. If you get the pro version, use that link and you help support us as well. We'd appreciate it. Thank you very much. Voice mod fucked my PC. Maybe don't get voice mod then. Maybe leave it alone. How did it fuck your PC? Interesting. Tell me more. Good morning, though, Mr. Bacon Chin. Can we cancel the scoop and just have Bibby doing House Flipper for 24 hours? It's interesting that you asked that, because Bibby's been asking me this for like the last week now, so it's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
A flipathon? No.
Just going to try to fit in the try and get it in the schedule.
It's not happening. It's not happening. Although to be fair, it was quite funny to watch. Not so much the Bibby playing House Flipper. It was the fact that Bibby was playing House Flipper and Sam was in the chat. And yeah, you can tell who the creative mind is in there. That relationship there, anyway.
Listen, I'm the only one currently out of us two that has managed to sell a house for the exact amount of money that the person who was going to buy it had in their bank account, give or take £200. So what's that saying? That's saying,
I don't know. Is that a good thing? Is that like basically you've
yeah,
rinsed
so
them, taken all the money?
pretty much, yeah. So you
Bib.
have like a collective of people who have a X amount of money, so you can click their profile to find out how much money they have to buy a house, and obviously you try and work out how much difference you can make from them or get back from them, depending on what you put else in the house. It's not as complicated as what I'm making it. It's just how much do they have, how much are they willing to spend, and then try and maximize their amount of spend. And I'm the only one that's done that, give or take £200. So creative minds and stuff like that.
I mean, Soulflex. I see what you're saying. I mean, Samantha's
Yep,
not here to fight
exactly.
her own corner. I see how you're doing that. You wait till she's not here.
No, well, I tell her that this conversation's happening.
Smart moves. Tito says, "Good, even imig." I mean, if you're gonna banter, at least spell properly. No, good evening. Good evening. He also says it's all about D&D Dark Alliance from tomorrow. It is. I mean, I will not be on that stream, but I will be watching. So tomorrow, actually, let me give you a little bit of a strip it back. We stream every day with the Scoop, and then for most days throughout the week, we stream gameplay after that. Just not today. Tuesdays is our no gameplay day, so we do work things on a Tuesday, so we don't have the time to stream on Tuesday afternoons. We will point you to someone after the show, though, one of our friends that's on the channel. However, Wednesday is not Tuesday, so we usually stream gameplay, and Wednesday is also D&D Dark Alliance release day, which Bib has
today. It's today.
Oh, is it today? Okay, well, Wednesday is our first day, so there you go. It's out today. Mr. T says them Dark Alliance reviews, though, are they good, or is that a good or a bad? Oh, okay.
They've been shocking, but as long as it's fun, I don't give a shit.
I mean, do you know what? Shocking reviews can lead to interesting streams, so either way it'll be good. So tune in. As Bib will play some of that tomorrow. I will sit back, relax, grab a brew, and you guys can do the same too. Is Tito jumping in as well? Have you discussed this? Do we know what's nice?
Tito can play after 4 o'clock, so yeah, I'm not going anywhere tomorrow. So yeah.
Beautiful. Oh, well, that's interesting because we have some. Well, it's basically a community game. So D&D with Tito, B&T playing D&D, and then on Thursday, Raw, who is a PUBG content creator. I've been speaking to him for weeks about playing some PUBG games. I think on Thursday, I haven't actually spoken to him since last week, that we might be jumping in as well. So we'll get some community co-op games tomorrow on D&D Dark Alliance, and then some community co-op games with Raw on PUBG on Thursday. Nice. See that? Look at that. Just interacting with the community. It's what you love to see. Bacon Chin says, "Fair fucks, good work, Bib." And then in response to the Dark Alliance reviews, VBAD. VBAD. Okay, that's brief enough to be brutal enough as well. But as Asim says, it's the beauty of Game Pass. Shit game that you're really excited for turns out to be a shit game. Not that it was, a good game turns out to be a shit game. That's probably a better way of phrasing it. Well, you didn't pay for it specifically. You paid for Game Pass, so it's just one of those. You did or you didn't get it. So nice. Yeah. Nice. If that isn't a reason to get Game Pass, I don't know what it is. Got Mario Golf ready to go on Friday, says Iceman. Nice. Are you streaming it, Iceman? I do want to see that. I don't spend a lot of time on the Switch, so I very rarely buy Switch games. But Super Mario Golf, is it Mario Golf Super Rush or something like that? Is that its actual name? Does have my attention a little bit.
So I'm getting that on Friday. I'm probably not going to be able to stream it until maybe Sunday evening, potentially, because I am away. I'm doing stuff Friday afternoon. Saturday I'm away. Sunday evening I could probably boot up the stream, but that's the first time that I'm going to probably be able to sit down and play it properly.
Well, either way, someone's going to stream it, and I'm going to watch it, and there's nothing you can do about it. Yeah, have that.
Game Collection have it for £42. If anyone hasn't got it or pre-ordered, Game Collection have it for £42. Usually you get it a day early as well.
Interesting. Well, there you go. That's a good shout. I mean, that sounds quite expensive, but it's a Nintendo Switch, so they're usually about £97. So it's probably good. We just need someone whose name begins with L for BLT plays D&D. What about Liam Day? Hi, my name's Liam Day. That sounds like a specific event. Liam Day. Nope, no thank you. Anyway, let's move on from that. True, that is the beauty of Game Pass. That is the beauty of Game Pass. But enough about Game Pass. We'll no doubt have conversations on that in the future, like all the time, because it's still the best deal in gaming. But for now, let's jump on to the conversation pieces of the day. We have 4 articles for you today, the first one of which you will have seen on social media. This is the thing that we kind of not spoke about last week and then spoke about a bit yesterday, and it just keeps coming back into the news. So we are speaking about it again today. So if you don't know, Blue Box Studios is releasing a game called Abandoned, and there's all sorts of rumours. We did post a link into the chat yesterday from a Jason Schreier tweet, which linked through to Reddit, which had all sorts of rabbit hole, like Enter the Matrix level of thought processes, linking Blue Box to Hideo Kojima, to Silent Hill. Is Abandoned a new Silent Hill game? Well, Blue Box's head has come out and said that he is not Hideo Kojima. Yes, his name begins with H and his surname begins with K, just like Hideo Kojima does, but he is in fact a different person. Also, the article says. Anyway, that's the lead story of today. After that, we will jump into some news. Nintendo says it's always looking at new tech, but downplays the Switch Pro rumors. We then have some updates on Nintendo Switch updates that kind of come out to fix some issues that they've kind of been quiet about. Anyway, we'll jump into all that stuff, and then we'll finish with a little bit more information on the Gotham Knights studio working on a Superman game. So if you want some superhero games and stuff, nice. Well, we've got that to finish the show. But first, as mentioned, Blue Box's head has been forced to reveal himself to debunk Silent Hill speculation. I actually got prepped and did all the bits before while Bibby was talking. But still, I'm going to do the usual thing of, Bib, do you think Blue Box's head could be Hideo Kojima? Could there be Silent Hill crossover speculation stuff?
Maybe.
There was a little bit of delay there as well, so there was a long old wait for a maybe.
That dragged out so long.
Anyway, let's jump into the actual news. So, Blue Box's head has been forced to reveal himself to debunk Silent Hill speculation. This is written by Chris Scullion at VGC, and it says Hasan Karaman says he has nothing to do with Hideo Kojima or the Silent Hill series. The founder of Blue Box Game Studios has appeared on camera to debunk theories that he's actually Hideo Kojima working on a Silent Hill game. Hasan Karaman tweeted a video himself today in an attempt to end internet speculation that he's a pseudonym for Kojima. Quote, just wanted to do a really quick video to show myself and that I'm a real person, Karaman says in the clip. I'm not really associated with Hideo Kojima, not an actor, not working on Silent Hill, so yeah, I just wanted to show you guys my face and that I'm real, and hopefully we'll do a Q&A really soon. Karaman was also interviewed by Bloomberg's Jason Schreier, where he reiterated that he has no connection to Kojima and that he's a trained game developer, not an actor. Quote, it doesn't matter how much I tried to debunk all this, Karaman told Schreier. People don't believe it. They just expect something that's not out there. It bothers me. The speculation stems from a since deleted post made on Blue Box's Twitter account, which claimed that its upcoming title, Abandoned, had a different name that started with S and ended with L. Squirrel, nice. It doesn't say squirrel in the article, by the way. Never mind. The tweet led to the formation of a Reddit group called the Blue Box Conspiracy, where Silent Hill fans tried to come up with links that proved that Blue Box was actually Kojima Studios working on a Silent Hill game. After removing its teaser tweet, Blue Box pinned a tweet to its account stressing that it has no ties to Silent Hill, Konami, or Kojima. Despite this, the speculation has only continued to build over the week, partly due to Kojima's past record of using fake studio names and actors to promote his games. The most notable example of this was the promotional campaign for Metal Gear Solid 5, which was teased as simply the Phantom Pain and promoted by an actor playing developer called I can't remember how to pronounce it. Was it Joaquin? Okay, I'll say Joaquin, but it could be wrong. Mogren. If Karaman really is an actor, Kojima has been playing the long game. A Kickstarter for a failed horror game called Rewind was launched in March 2015 and cites both both Blue Box and KAHRAMAN as developers. Although KAHRAMAN is adamant he has no involvement in the new Silent Hill game, this doesn't mean there isn't one on the way. Earlier this year, Silent Hill composer Akira Yamaoka teased his next game project is the one you've been hoping to hear about, and that he expected an unannounced game to be revealed this summer. Okay, this is one of those, like, but of course you'd say that sort of situations.
Yeah.
I mean, Hasan Karaman has come out and said that he is not Hideo Kojima. He is not an actor. It's nice to get some attention, but it's now at the point where, okay, this could go horribly wrong. So let's just fucking say, I am Hasan Karaman. But of course, that's exactly what you'd say. I mean, you can just imagine Blue Box Conspiracy Group or whatever it was on Reddit. That is what they are having these conversations.
Yeah.
Off the bat, babe, your thoughts. Is Hasan Karaman Hasan Karaman? Or is Hasan Karaman Hideo Kojima?
I think he is who he say he is. I think Asim summed it up pretty well there. He says if this is someone elaborately fake dismissing of the rumors, man, crazy. If this dude is being genuine, feel sorry for him in the studio just trying their thing, and well, this. So yeah, it's kind of got to the point where people are throwing the Charlie Day stuff on the wall, post-its, lines, bits of string being pulled through other things and conspiracy theories. Has it gone a bit too far to a point where it's like, do you know what? We are never going to get past this if we don't say who I am and reveal my face. So, yeah, it's kind of got to this point now where he's had to do that. So, I don't know. I still think I wouldn't. He could be. He could be. I've never seen the bloke before. I've never heard of him before. So, for all I know, he could be an actor. I'm fairly certain someone would have seen him in something by now if that was the case to debunk this. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't put it past Kojima to say, do you know what, mate? Just pretend that you're somebody else, bump, and then just release it, and then it's just a big smoke stream. But genuinely, who knows? I mean, that would be exciting. That would be super exciting. But I don't know. I think this guy is who he says he is. That way.
As Ad says in the chat, it was me, Austin. It was me all along. Yeah, big Vinnie Mac, nice. Do you know what? I still believe that this is Blue Box. I would absolutely love to be trolled by this. Because obviously you guys know we do work with Konami. It doesn't necessarily mean that we know everything that Konami is doing. So if this is a Silent Hill game, we don't know. We have no idea. So I would love to be sat there going, oh, yeah, I'm pretty close to Konami. I don't think it's real. And then be like, oh shit, it is. Whoa, we had no idea. So yeah, I would love for that to be the case. I genuinely don't think it is. That said, I say I genuinely don't think. My overwhelming feeling is that I don't think that is the case. But it could be. Because the Joachim or Joachim or however you pronounce it, Mogren stuff for Metal Gear Solid 5. Then there was what was the studios from PT? Was it like 1870 Studios or something like that? And I remember being sat in the Kojima, an audience with Hideo Kojima kind of thing at Gamescom. So there was like a big presentation sort of event. So it's Jeff Keighley interviewing Hideo Kojima on stage in the theater in Cologne. I remember obviously being at that event and sat there listening to the reasoning for 1870 Studios. So it was like, I think it was like the Tuesday night was the Metal Gear Solid, not the Metal Gear Solid, the PT reveal in the PlayStation Gamescom conference. And then the Wednesday night was the audience with Hideo Kojima. So it was the day after. Obviously everyone had seen PT. People had gone through and found out that it was playable teaser for Silent Hills. And they were speaking quite openly in that. And Kojima was like, yeah, the studio was 1870 Studios or whatever it was like that. And people were trying to find all these elaborate details, like what does 1870 Studios mean? What is the significance of this picture? And the picture was like a tree stump or something like that. And he was like, literally, the reason the tree stump had no significance other than it was the back garden of one of our developers. So he took a picture. It was nice. We used that as the profile picture for 1870. I don't know if 1870 is the right one. I'm sticking with that. And then the other bit, 1870, people were trying to like come up with all these. This could be this. This is this, and it's like full on the Charlie Day like pointing at the wall image that Bibby was talking about yesterday. That sort of like full on like witch hunt. This is what it means. This is what it means. And Kojima was something like, no, that was just like the square meterage of the back garden that the tree was in. It was like 1,870 meters squared or something like that. So he was just like, yeah, fuck it, that'll do. We'll have that one, 1870 Studios. Ta-da! So, but that is daft as fuck to go to that level, which makes me think you never know. You never know.
No.
The only reason I don't think this is legit is, like, when I say legit in terms of, no, actually, let me rephrase or explain this. I believe Hasan Karaman is legit as a developer for Blue Box Studios, and they aren't working on a Silent Hill game. And I have no knowledge of that, no inside information, nothing that hasn't come from these news articles. The only reason I believe that is the case is that Hideo Kojima is a very creative person. One of the most creative people in video games in history. He reinvents the wheel. He not even reinvents the wheel. He creates new shapes. Forget the wheel. I want a fucking octagon. Yeah, it's similar but better, that kind of thing. Hideo Kojima doesn't do the same thing over and over again. And we've had Mogren, we've had 1870 Studios. I feel, for me, Kojima, that would be a bit one-trick pony-ish, which he is not that kind of person. So him creating a fake studio is like, okay, well, last time, let's do it again. And he doesn't do that. He does something new all the time. So is that the internet going, oh, well, Kojima's been known for it, but Kojima's also been known for being new, for being fresh, for being different, not same, but different, but same. So yeah, that was it for me. I don't believe it's the case because Kojima's done it before. I could be wrong. Maybe this is Kojima going, well, I didn't quite get the full extent of the immersion of that creating a persona and a brand for the stuff that I wanted previously, because I wanted to do the whole 1870 Studios thing, going through PT, and obviously PT didn't happen, so I get a chance to finish my dream, maybe. But yeah, I would feel like he's done it, so he'd step away. But we will see. We will see. Well, 77 ATS. There you go. That's it. It was something of that ilk kind of thing. I remember the image. Actually, no. The image was it the PT image? That's what it was. The PT image, not the studio image. Maybe was a picture of a tree with the letters PT over it, and everyone's like, "What does the tree mean?" And that was literally just one of the developers' gardens. Literally, that's all it was. But yeah, let's jump through the comments. So he's a trained developer. Iceman says trained by Kojima. Bacon Chin says Hasan is an actor. I've seen him in something before. Ooh. Maybe he's just got one of those faces. I don't know. But like you see him in your local coffee shop kind of thing. Like, oh, I'm pretty sure he gets like a spiced pumpkin latte every. I don't know. Asim says oh no, you've read that bit. Tito says this is either genius marketing from Blue Box or it's a Kojima product. Either way, it's worked and generated hype. It has. I mean, it could have been accidental marketing as well, that they've just then allowed to like build and then gone, oh fuck, okay, this is getting out of hand because people genuinely like. There's a few types of fans. There's people that are interested in games, and then there's super fans, and super fans can be super horrendous as well. If you're letting them down, they will let you know it. And if they feel that people have cashed in on Kojima and Konami and stuff for the purposes of marketing, then you might as well not bother, because that will just be bad. So yeah, it could have been that. It could have been they started cashing in on it, going, oh, this is fun. Look at all the exposure. Look at all the interest. Oh fuck, it's all going wrong. Quick, stop, reverse, rewind, cancel, deny. This wasn't us. So it could have been that as well. The first sounds Kojima-esque. The second could spell disaster for an innocent developer. Exactly. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, it could be. It could be an innocent developer. It might not have even been that malicious. They might not have even been trying to market it. They might just a lot of smaller developers just don't have great comms because they don't have the staff and the personnel and the PR history to deal with that sort of stuff. So maybe they've just been trying to get their proverbial ducks in a row to how they combat this whilst the internet is moving on at a pace. So they might have just got to the point where they've gone, okay, we just need to get anything out to say that this isn't us, because it can be quite damaging. The amount of stress and stuff that devs can be put under. Just yesterday, what was in a sloth, that was it, Among Us. I mean, what about the stress and levels of shit that Inner Sloth devs had to put up with? And that was something they were working on. This is something that they're not even factored to be working on, but they're having to devote time, resources, and the like to combat news stories and do interviews with Jason Schreier and do other interviews like that. Hasan Karaman has done at least 2 interviews in this article. So, yeah, busy. Bacon Chin. What if it's all a ruse and the actual Kojima studio is just elsewhere? What, like a misdirection kind of thing? Maybe the Kojima people have just done this. Look at that. While we all set up over here, maybe you're onto something. You never know. Ads says you work with Pez, work with Konami. Fix Pez. Hashtag blame baby. Hashtag blame Graham. I don't know who Graham is. My name is Liam Day, and we found out already.
Let me just go into the game right now, and I'll just fix a few 1s and 0s. I'll do that for you, no problems, mate. Don't worry about it.
I don't know why you didn't just do that first thing, babe. God's sake, it's that easy. No. Do it now. I should have used voice mod there, but do you know what? Exclamation mark voice mod in chat. Nice. People are doing that right now to the Breath of the Wild 2 trailers. Doing what right now? I don't know. We've had a lot of comments. Bacon Chin says next Kojima game can be found on the final corner of the Nürburgring in the upcoming Gran Turismo. Next Kojima game will be found hidden behind a tree that looks like Guillermo del Toro in the next Horizon game. Next Kojima game has been behind you the whole time.
Yeah.
Fuck. Do you know? I wouldn't put it behind. He would though. Kojima is so creative. The next big Hideo Kojima game was actually hidden in the original Metal Gear Solid game. Imagine. Oh shit, there he is. To your coffee, Hideo. Next Kojima game is on Big Phil Spencer's shelves, and it's a PlayStation exclusive. What the fuck? Yes, the Xbox boss. Nailed it. Said it slowly. Basically what you said, G. Kojima doesn't like to do the same thing twice. That's what puts me off the sense, but so to speak. I think you mean the X-Boss box. Yes, that too thing. Yes. But yeah, there you go. Blue box, Silent Hill speculation. It's not legit. Well, it is if you believe Hasan Karaman, aka Hideo Kojima, aka not Hideo Kojima, aka nobody really knows. But if you're taking it all at face value, Hasan Karaman is a person, Blue Box is a studio, and none of it is a front for a Kojima activity. Or is it? Dun, dun, dun. And therein lies the problem, because that's always the problem. That's the point, that or is it is part of Kojima's marketing. So we'll take it at face value for now. It's not. But if the rumour mill keeps on churning, we will keep you up to date with what happens in that. For now, though, let's jump ahead into our next bit of news. Let's talk about Switch BB. Do we have ads in the chat? Hashtag Switch Pro confirmed. Or not, maybe, as Don Peppiatt at VG247 has this article, says Nintendo says it's always looking at new tech, but downplays Switch Pro rumours. Nintendo's Doug Bowser has given some insight into the Nintendo Switch maker's philosophy when it comes to new tech and suggests a Switch Pro may not be as close as we thought. Also, once again, eternally, every time we mention it, we have to mention it. Shout out to Doug Bowser, who has the best name for a Nintendo boss ever. Speaking to the Washington Post, the Nintendo of America president reflected on how well the console has been received by the game playing public as the hardware enters its 5th year on the market, and chatted about how the company looks forward when it comes to hardware. Quote, "We are always looking at technology and how technology can enhance gameplay experiences. It's not technology for technology's sake," Bowser said in the interview. It's how specifically can technology enhance a gameplay experience, and then where do you apply that technology? Do you want to apply it on current existing hardware or platforms, or do you want to wait for the next platform? And then what's the right gameplay experience with that? There's a host of factors that goes into it, and it's something we're always looking at. We've been hearing reports about a new Switch model for a while now, with rumours about the hardware refresh kicking off as far back as 2018. Shout out to Bib with the Switch Pro rumours back on Scoop back then. Anyway, Nintendo has remained refused. Nintendo has refused to say anything about a potential model, though, and even now, Bowser seems reticent to say whether there's actually anything in the works. Back in May, we saw a new report that suggests that the next Nintendo Switch model will begin production in July 2021 and see a retail release by September. Following those rumors, a new Nintendo Switch Pro listing was spotted on Amazon, though this could have just been a placeholder. Recent reports line up nicely with previous suggestions that the new Switch model will use a 7-inch 720p rigid OLED panel, an improvement over the Switch's current Switch's 6.2-inch LCD panel, and will be capable of providing 4K graphics when docked into a TV. Nintendo has yet to make an announcement about any potential hardware. Bib, are you a fan of the Switch?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't look like you're going to be playing House Flipper in 4K on your Switch anytime soon. Or is that
Maybe
the
not.
Case? Dun, dun, dun. Basically, the Hasan Karaman, Kojima stuff, and Nintendo doing a Kojima. What we're saying?
Yeah, I think I've got a feeling this may be a double bluff. I don't know. It feels like this has been going on too long. Did we start talking about this like 12 to 18 months ago? Like we were still in the office, so it was well over 12 months ago. So I'm going to say at a push 18 months ago, we started talking about this Switch Pro stuff, about the capabilities and what they could potentially produce and get the best out of other games rather than them having to dumb it down so much that it's able to run on the console or not in some cases. This is so much closer, I think, than they're letting on. I think this is very, yes, we're not looking at it yet, but in not so many words. But yeah, I think this is a lot sooner, a lot closer than they're making out to be. I don't know if we're going to see it this year. I definitely think that when Breath of the Wild 2 comes out, it will potentially be a launch game with that. I think I'd said that they're still pulling apart the trailer after the E3 trailer that was shown in the Nintendo Direct, trying to find some stuff that could potentially think actually that might not be capable of running on the original Switch kind of thing. So yeah, I think this is probably going to be a launch game for a new a new launch console for Zelda that will be playable on both consoles. You'll just obviously have the option to maybe buy like the PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox kind of thing, where it's a Switch Pro version, but then you have to buy the original Switch version, or it may just be playable and stripped down. I'm not sure the logistics of how they're able to do that. But if I was to throw my money on anything, it would be that the Switch Pro will come out alongside a new Zelda game. That's what my money would be saying.
I think that's kind of the smart point. It's a safe bet. You got to feel. Did we get a date for Breath of the Wild 2? I can't remember. Did we just get a 2022 or did we not even get that? I mean, I would remember, but Nintendo conference was just kind of like, fuck it, content creators, fuck you. So ads says 2022. There you go. I mean, if anyone's going to know, it's going to be ads. So 2022.
The end of the trailer.
Oh, we've got a little bit of audio disconnect, me and you there, I think. So, yeah, 2022. That's next year. If Nintendo are saying they aren't set, is that Nintendo just saying stuff just to keep share prices fine, to make everyone think, oh, okay, well, there's going to be no Switch Pro anytime soon. We might as well buy Switches, keep the stock being sold, keep share prices looking healthy and stuff like that. Naturally, when you say that sort of stuff, your stock will probably take a little bit of a drop, but then pick up again straight away. That could be that sort of messaging. It could be the fact that it is not on the horizon, their horizon being the next 6 months, so it could be a 2022 release. If, as ads has said all along, March 2022 or somewhere around that time is when we will see Breath of the Wild 2. If March 2022 comes along and the Switch comes out alongside it, that's not on the horizon. That's 9 months away. We didn't find out about the PS5 until July, August time, and that came out in December. So, it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, we had confirmation about the the PS5 before that, actually, but we didn't get to see it until then. So that wouldn't surprise me. If they're saying, yeah, forget it. We're only going to develop new hardware when There's reasons. We're not just going to throw something out. I mean, that's all PR jazz, because we got a PS4 and we got a PS4 Pro because it gave you marginal upgrades. Some things went to 4K, some things you could play in frame rate boost modes kind of stuff.
Mode.
Yeah, exactly. So it wasn't necessarily complete reinvention of the hardware, but it gave people a better opportunity to play their games at better levels. And people are willing to do that anyway. People are willing to just buy Switches every week because there's a Pikachu version, there's a Breath of the Wild version, there is a whatever version this week, a Monster Hunter version, and so on. So give them a Pro version, they will be throwing their money at that. So we don't want to create technology for technology's sake. But it's not just for technology's sake, it's for your audience and their better involvements and so on. So it's a PR answer, it's a good answer. We don't want to take your money for no reason, but we'll still take your money. That's kind of, it's the bit that he's not saying that's still in there. So yeah, I think you're right. Next year, March, April, whenever Breath of the Wild comes out, that's when we'll have the Switch Pro coming out alongside it. So it's not now. But then, I mean, that said, we do miss out a Christmas window in there. But as this last 18 months has proven for Nintendo, they don't have to rely on Christmas. They can just sell the Switch whenever.
Bring out an Animal Crossing game.
Yeah, exactly. But Animal Crossing was big. Breath of the Wild 2 has the potential to be bigger. That could push the envelope.
You think?
I mean, potentially. Breath of the Wild is how can I put this? Is more of a gamer's game. Shit phrasing, I know. Whereas Animal Crossing was more of a social game. So it depends on how big it is. If the gamers have got involved, then it could be huge. That said, social gaming has the potential to be bigger than most things. I mean, look at how big Pokemon Go was. That was a mobile game. Fine. That was a Pokemon game. Fine. But it was also a social trend. So Animal Crossing had that in it. If those people that are Animal Crossing games are looking for new experiences and Breath of the Wild becomes something that becomes a bit of a social trend, I think combining that social with how big the fandom of Breath of the Wild is, I think it definitely, maybe not. Maybe it won't get to Animal Crossing's heights, but it'll be the first thing that'll get up into that region since then, I think.
I agree. I think it'll be a console seller, but I had an inkling purely because, like, when Zelda came out, more people was interested in the console, obviously because it was a launch game. It was a launch game for the console. Fantastic. You want a new Zelda game? Here you go. Here's brand new hardware to be able to do. But I have honestly never seen a boom as much as Animal Crossing, right? And we could talk about Fall Guys, we could talk about Among Us and stuff like that, but genuinely, people who I have no idea that they liked Animal Crossing. No one's ever mentioned it, and then my timeline was full of it. And I've actually just checked to see what the difference is because I would have put my hat on Animal Crossing outselling Zelda by a landslide, and they genuinely did.
Yeah,
22 million for Breath of the Wild and 32 million for Horizon, New Horizons Animal Crossing. So I would like to see what. I'd like to see the fact that they managed to run out of parts for creating and selling Nintendo Switches because that game was so popular blew my mind.
It was kind of like the perfect storm for them, though, wasn't it? They had lockdown. They had people. I mean, that was early lockdown as well. So it was people that were looking for new creative experiences. We're all happy in lockdown and we're happy to stay indoors. Whereas now people are like, fuck it, I don't care if it breaks the rules. I'm off out without a face mask and I'm going to go lick the outside of the pub because that's what I can do now. Fuck you, Boris. And then the world was okay. We want to share. We're all in this together. And Animal Crossing came out at that perfect time where you don't have to be a gamer. You can just you can like what the people were. I mean, I mentioned Pokemon Go, but people were comparing it to it's like Pokemon Go Summer, but the opposite, and you're playing the game inside as opposed to all going out and playing the game together. And that's why you saw like what was it called, Animal Talking, the Gary Whitta talk show that had like massive celebrities and stuff on it. So yeah, it probably won't get up to those levels, but what that game did do is set an install base that Nintendo's never had before on the Switch. So they've not had anything that could break out. And I think Zelda's, I don't want to say failed attempt on the Wii U because the game was exceptional, but Nintendo's failed attempt at releasing the Wii U and then bringing out Zelda again, that gave people 2 bites at Zelda. So whilst Zelda sold shitloads, it was almost kind of like a strong set of sales followed by a strong set of sales again, rather than an exceptionally strong set of sales like Animal Crossing. So in theory, Zelda has something to punch. Maybe not to Animal Crossing's level, and definitely not to friggin' Mario Kart levels, but it could punch its way into that like that echelon of the top 5 Nintendo Switch games. And if you put a Switch,
I wish they'd released the stats where they didn't have the console bundled in, because Mario Kart's at the top.
Yeah.
And I don't believe for a second that 35 million people have just bought Mario Kart that wasn't part of a bundle. It's like Tetris. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's annoying, but it is what it is. So Animal Crossing's in second, Smash Brothers is in third, Breath of the Wild's in fourth, Sword and Shield's in fifth. Surprisingly, Mario Odyssey is sixth. I wasn't expecting that. I thought it'd be a little bit higher in the list. I thought it would outsell Smash, but what do I know?
I think maybe the fact that it's just an older game again. It's that remake sort of reprint philosophy. You give someone that new experience, and that's kind of what I'm thinking with Zelda. Could be wrong. I think Zelda will punch up there because Breath of the Wild, whilst it is a Switch game, it wasn't a Switch game. It was effectively a port, whereas this being a for purpose creation could be good. The downside though is that it's Breath of the Wild 2, and sequels don't tend to do as well unless they're hype, because people don't have the legacy. People that didn't play 1 won't play 2 kind of thing, so you tend to get a drop off in that sort of thing. But yeah, anyway, which way do you guys think it's going to go? Let me jump back through the comments because there has been quite a lot. 90% of them from ads, but it's fine. Analysing them like, well, I know, where do we get to? Not close, says ads, in quotes. Still confirmed, Kappa. I keep telling you it's the Switch Mini Lite dual screen, says Tito. Ad says, in before Switch 3D. Refusing to reveal it could still see it happen. It could do, absolutely could do. I mean, it's still possible for Christmas. I wouldn't go that far to hang my hat on it being March and April next year. I think that is very likely, but not the only potential right now. We could still see a Christmas release. Just with them denying it strongly on the verge of going into July, that's the bit that kind of puts me off. Usually they will do that in a March and then announce it in July, but denying it in the March and then denying it on the edge of July is kind of a bit like, not sure. How serious would the GPU need to be for 4K graphics? Is it feasible? Surely cooling would be a nightmare. Ad says, Tito, the original Switch overclocks could do 4K, but overheats. I mean, if you're not using the screen in it, though, if you're only playing it 4K docked, then surely that is something that they could work around it. Not to mention power drain on the GPU and screen being higher res unless they have intelligent switching. Apparently, August is when the Switch Pro starts / goes into production. I think winter time close to December, Nintendo will do another event and reveal Switch Pro and Breath of the Wild 2 date. Magic Man says, oh, hello, and a lurk because I'm still doing calls. Hope you well. Love you, Magic Man. Tito says, when do Nintendo traditionally launch hardware? Obviously, normally November is a launch time for Christmas sales boost. Do Nintendo have a traditional launch time? Do they not just kind of do whatever feels right for Nintendo at that point in time? I don't know. So someone tell me. Adds up Switch Pro and Breath of the Wild 2 in March, lines up with the original Switch's release and Breath of the Wild release, so market it like that too. Nintendo took out a copyright in the name Nintendo Switch Pro, so something's happening. I mean, that could just be to stop other people from doing that. So Nintendo, I think there was something like psvita.com or something like that back in the Vita days, or psvita.co.uk, and you typed it in and it took you to Nintendo 3DS holding page, which was genius. It's that sort of covering your brand sort of stuff, maybe. That's not unusual in itself. Many products will do that on things like copyright and website domains just to prevent others from poaching it and then holding it to ransom. Well, there you go. That's the same thing. GG's, Tito. You got that before me. Animal Crossing New Horizon was so long in the waiting. I think it was 7-year gap between Animal Crossings. Mortal Kombat 8 Remastered 2, not even a new Mortal Kombat. Breath of the Wild 2 will become the most top-selling game of all time. No, it won't. GTA 5 says hello from very high above. Actually, I think you're probably right. Breath of the Wild 2 will be console only. No, probably about it. Breath of the Wild 2 will do well, but won't even touch FIFA for sales. I mean, that's the thing. It will possibly be the biggest selling Switch game. I don't think it will do. But yeah, it won't get to the biggest of ever, in my opinion. What were you chuckling at a second ago anyway, babe?
That from his GTA 5 says hello. It never will come close to it. Like the only things that can come close to it are things that are already close to it, like Minecraft. Um, yeah, I mean, if Roblox was a game that could be bought, I imagine that would have come quite close as well because they're just, I don't want to say kiddies games, but they are shovelware, aren't they? They're just stuff that's on the console that kids automatically go to because it's the kind of bright, colourful games that you come to expect. But every man and the dog owns at least 2 copies of GTA 5, whether or not that'll be the free one from like Epic Game Store or ones that have been given on console, or the original ones from your last gen console or the generation before that. So at least everyone in the world probably owns 2. I think I own 4 copies of GTA 5. But yeah, everyone owns at least 2 copies of GTA 5. I do not own 2 copies of Breath of the Wild.
I'm on 3 GTA 5s. I had the PS3 one, got rid of it, got the PS4 one, and I've got it on Epic Game Store, which was free, obviously, but still, yeah, 3 copies. Ad says I own 3. Exactly. Okay, let's put a pin in that. So hell no Switch Pro, says Nintendo, which is what I added to the discussing now. But we'll move on from that, but stick with Nintendo, as this article from Tom Phillips at Eurogamer says, a week on, some Nintendo Switch fans say they're still unable to download games and updates. Update Nintendo quiet releases fix further system update due. Okay, we'll jump to the original story, which was 4 days ago, and then it was updated yesterday. So the original story is some Nintendo Switch owners are still reporting problems when trying to download games and updates from the eShop. More than a week after the problem first came to light, Nintendo customer support is aware of the problem, and there is a page of troubleshooting tips to follow if you encounter the issue's error code 21231502. Fans I've spoken to say customer support is helping as best it can, but that repeating the above possible solutions per download is meant as a temporary solution at present. Nintendo has yet to officially acknowledge the issue. Eurogamer got in contact last week, but has not been issued a response. Reportedly, customer support has told fans affected by the problem that a new firmware update is being worked on to solve the error for good. Last week, a spate of reports flagging up eShop errors erupted after Nintendo released a small and otherwise unimportant system update. Rollout of that update was temporarily paused while Nintendo investigated issues, but then resumed. Subsequently, some Switch owners were unable to download new games, updates, and/or existing purchases from their store history, but not everyone has been affected, and some of the above solutions have solved the problem for a number of people. If you're still struggling, it's worth trying. Okay, it's worth trying the steps linked above or checking in with the lengthy Nintendo Switch Reddit thread on the problem, where fans are sharing other DNS switching tips. Finally, here's another solution which has worked for some. Okay, it's in the tweet linked in the article, but we'll jump up to the update. Nintendo has quietly performed network maintenance, which reportedly fixes the dreaded Switch error code 21231502. As spotted by Nintendo Life, a notice warning of maintenance taking place overnight last night was posted to Nintendo's Japanese maintenance website. Subsequently, fans affected by the error code have reported a return to normal service. A Switch firmware update will also now follow for release next Monday, 28th of June. At no point has Nintendo ever officially acknowledged the issue beyond helping fans who have had to contact customer support. We've been keeping a close eye on the problem. Do let us know how you're getting on. My God, Nintendo. This is it's horrendous. It's not good enough at all. And this comes me throwing in last week's dreaded last minute update as to please don't stream our stuff. Content creators, we love you, but we don't want to work with you in any way, shape, or form. We will not give you any information about you guys co-streaming the event. So if anybody missed that, we did E3 coverage. So we called it Ice Cream Applauds of Friends, but that's a bit ice cream centric. It was actually a bunch of the world's best content creators. Us, Mr. T, Show, Nico, the guys at NGB. We all kind of jumped in to provide additional coverage throughout E3 streams on our channels and their channels. And when it came to the Nintendo one, which was supposed to be the last one, we're supposed to do a live stream watch along, which Nintendo just in Japan rolled out one tweet that said, please don't co-stream this. If you stream it, you could get copyright strikes. You can make videos about it afterwards. Just don't do anything live. We don't want any audio or video from our broadcast on your broadcasts. We'd already put social assets together, aligned our timetables so we make sure we're all free, planned in the time, and literally about 40 minutes before we went live, we made the call. Okay, fine. We've had no confirmation on any of Nintendo's European social channels or any of Nintendo's American social channels or any of the channels that speak English to confirm that nobody should co-stream the show. So we decided, okay, going off of these loose translations that other people are reporting secondhand, we will just not show the gameplay. We'll have to just talk amongst ourselves. There'll be a massive disconnect for our audience because hopefully they're watching it, but not all audiences have the ability to watch on two screens, especially if you're watching a mobile device. You can't do that. So they'll just have to watch us and hope they can get the information. Bit shit, really bad communication. And it was just that sense of, where Nintendo, we can do whatever the fuck we want. We've got Animal Crossing New Horizons selling 32 million copies. You're going to do whatever we want you to do, bitches. Which then is echoed in this. So a little firmware issue that isn't affecting everyone. Okay, that's fine. Just got, okay, there's an issue going on. Here's what to do in English, job's good. And the fact that it was never acknowledged and the updates and stuff were only posted to a Japanese maintenance website that is pure Nintendo, and it's just not good enough. It's just not good enough. What are your thoughts, babe?
Yeah, the one of the reasons why I included this is because I actually faced this problem when I was trying to install House Flipper for Samantha on Friday. I think it was. It just wouldn't download. When I said to you that just nothing was there, like I couldn't click on anything. Like my games had a few updates that hadn't been done. Usually, I'd just leave my Switch on in the dock and it'd just download automatically, which seems to be the only console in the world that can do that. Despite having a PlayStation 5, a PlayStation 4, an Xbox One downstairs, you can tick the box all you want, but those fucking games do not download in the background. I'm telling you now. Anyway, rant over. I couldn't get House Flipper to install. The only thing that worked for me to get the updates and stuff was to clear my cache internally on the console, which I didn't even know was a thing, but apparently it's a thing. So I typed in the error code on Friday, found a troubleshoot from someone on Reddit that just said, go into your settings, clear your cache. That should have a chance. And it did. But I was spent like 25, 30 minutes like resetting my Switch, going to the store, seeing if I could download an old game. It wasn't necessarily just House Flipper. It was like Fortnite wouldn't update, DC Universe Online wouldn't update, NBA Playgrounds 2 wouldn't update. Like all of these games just had an X on them because they just wouldn't download. I thought maybe it's because I've got too much stuff on my Switch and I needed to delete it. So deleted like 3 games. That didn't work. But yeah, if you clear your cache, that should help it. This is kind of a PSA. Cache. So anyone who's struggling with this, just try that first. It hopefully will work. It worked for me. But yeah, what a pain in the fucking ass.
Yeah, it's not good enough. It's not good enough. And it's a shame that if that was Xbox, they would be being torn down. If that was PlayStation, they would be being torn down. If that was Steam, then PC players would be ripping the shit. But Nintendo just gets away with it, which is fucking horrendous that we're in this environment where we just kind of go, oh, it's just Nintendo. It's just, they almost have this, how can I put it? Like outsider effect. Nintendo aren't westernized, so we don't know. There's differences in communications and so on, and they get away with it, which is just not good enough because PlayStation's a Japanese company as well, but they're very westernized, so they get held to a different sort of standard. And it bugs me that Nintendo get away with such subpar quality communications. They want all the joys of everything that comes from a westernized audience, but don't want to give any sort of quality or caliber that you'd come from engaging with that audience. We want to talk to you. We don't want you to talk to us. You will do what we say, and we won't do anything for you. Nice. Unless it makes us money, obviously. So yeah, it's not good enough. It's not good
obviously.
enough. Nintendo not getting online right? Never. Ad says, saying that, I can't download the latest PS4 system update. Can you not? Do you still have to have a degree in code cracking to play with friends online on a Nintendo platform? And Tito also says, kind of ironic that Nintendo positions itself as child and family friendly, yet you need a degree in quantum mechanics and an IQ of Albert Einstein to figure out the online aspect of their products. Exactly. It's bizarre. But it is bizarre. It's overcomplicated and complex, but it's Nintendo, and that's what they wanted to do, so you can shut up and you will just deal with what they tell you. Okay, fine, nice. Same thing. Let's just Nintendo on. David says, according to Wiki, Nintendo releases its consoles predominantly in November. If not, it's June, July, or March is the earliest month listed, which was the Switch. Madge says, as bad as Sony forcing you to use their proprietary screwdriver to build their shit. Yeah. Stupid. Stupids. Anyway, let's jump into our final article of the day. We are closing in on the end of the show. Oop, take that one off. Our last bit of news, as mentioned, is superhero related. Notice, so if you're a DC fan, the Gotham Knights studio that's working on Gotham Knights studio is also working on a Superman game. Claims a source. This is written by GameCentral at the Metro, and it's an article from today. This article's only a couple of hours old, so it's pretty fresh. WB Games Montreal has been revealed to be working on a second project after Gotham Knights, and it's rumoured to be a Superman title. For a studio that's been going on for over a decade and employs hundreds of people, WB Games Montreal has a disappointingly short gameography. The only console game they've released in all that time is 2013's Batman Arkham Origins, with the studio apparently being a graveyard of abandoned or cancelled DC Comics projects. Gotham Knights is now supposed to be out next year, but WB Games Montreal is already posting job ads for their next game, which is described as a new IP AAA title. Although it's never been explicitly stated, the implication has always been that WB Games Montreal was created specifically to work on DC properties, with the job ad confirming that the studio is focused on developing games that expand the DC universe in the interactive space, with the rumour being that this new one is Superman related. Although officially the last Superman game was by EA way back in 2006, there have been rumours of multiple cancelled Superman games over the years, including one at WB Games Montreal, and another by Arkham creators Rocksteady. Although being so powerful does make for difficulties as a video game's character, the issue is overstated given Superman has several built-in vulnerabilities, including not just kryptonite, but also red sun radiation and magic. Also, his rogues gallery includes many of the most powerful beings in the DC universe, with many having abilities that specifically revolve around his weaknesses. The bigger problem in recent years, and one shared by Hollywood, seems to be the obsession with portraying Superman as a bad guy, which already seems to be the case in Rocksteady's Suicide Squad game. However, the new Superman and Lois TV show has been earning good reviews for its more positive portrayal of the characters, while Warner Brothers insider James Sigfield has been posting clips from the 90s Superman the Animated Series show, which is also lauded as one of the best versions of the character. Sigfield correctly predicted both Gotham Knights and Suicide Squad before they were announced, although at the moment he's added no additional detail on exactly what kind of game the Superman title might be. He has, however, clarified the use of the term new IP refers to a new franchise like Gotham Knights, not the character itself. If you've got any salt nearby, just take a big old pinch, because this is all rumor mill stuff. But it's not far fetched. It's not far fetched. Warner Brothers, DC, hand in hand, have been for a while. The studio that is working on titles that have Superman actually in them could be looking at Superman content too. What say you, Bib?
Yeah, I mean, there was something that I sent to you maybe a week ago that I'd found on Reddit of someone who's created like a little fan. It's about a 20-second clip, if that, of a Superman game being made in Unreal, and it looked great. It looked very much like what you'd expect from a Spider-Man game, just with Superman really, and him flying around. It looked pretty good. So it's kind of timely that this article is being sent out. But again, like I said, take it with a massive fistful of salt. Because I can't see this coming out anytime soon. I don't even know if the world will like embrace a new Superman game. Obviously, we had the Superman 64 game that was just probably goes down as one of the worst games, right next to ET, that there's ever been. So, is the world ready for a Superman game? I don't know. I mean, let's see how this Suicide Squad one goes first before we start jumping onto a new Superman game, because that may well flop. The Gotham Knights one, I think, has got the best chance. But yeah, let's see what happens with those before we start putting some big eggs in big old baskets.
Jumping through the chat. If it's Superman is a bad plot, then sod that. Hopefully it's a full-on true hero experience. Tito says, try being an Xbox fanboy. Great hardware, but forgot about games. They made a lot of stupid mistakes, but at least you had decent games. Asim says, get the flying mechanics right for a Superman game, and you're halfway there. A lot of previous Superman games sucked at that level. Adds a Superman 64 remastered. Tito, hopefully this DC game is live service and as good as Marvel's Avengers, Kappa. Yikes. Someone banned Tito for his last comment. I miss Gotham City Imposters. Great game, says Ads. See, there's a how can I put this? Superhero movies before the MCU were, and that noise is a noise that means, yeah, you might have got a good one, and you might have got one that was fucking terrible, and you just take your pick. Marvel then added in a layer of quality consistency throughout the storytelling. Whatever that reason is there like a director of football role at Marvel, like director of superheroes, someone that makes sure that there's consistent content that's being hit throughout? I don't know. But Marvel nailed it. DC, still no. DC will, like, there was a meme the other week. It's like Marvel plans for 20 years of films. DC just goes, fuck it, yeah, let's make a film about that. Let's throw out any old random shit. But hopefully, when it comes to the video game content, video game storytellers are exactly that, and they're very good at it. You get good storytellers in video games, and they can sell stories like tell stories. That's the one. We got there eventually. Nice, Xbox boss. They can tell stories like nobody's business. Well, like their business, because that is their business. So seeing superheroes done in video games and seeing them done exceptionally well, a la Spider-Man. I mean, Spider-Man is a game that is super simplistic at its core. You take away the traversal in Spider-Man, you take away the web slinging, the jumping off the walls, putting people into nets, into web nets kind of thing, and stuff like that, then you've just got a run around, beat 'em up, open worldy game. It's not particularly special beyond that. I mean, it looks great. Obviously, It is special. There's many things, but that is what makes it. And like Asim says, nail flying around, because you can fly in fucking PUBG. There is a sandbox mode that PUBG partners get, and you can fly to wherever you want on the map, and you literally put your arm out like your Superman and just fucking take off. But it has no weighting to it. It has no real feeling. There's nothing special about why would you want to do it. Things like jumping off the floor in Marvel Spider-Man. Okay, you jump, but then you can do like a power jump, and you feel like, and it's full on over animated, like overacted, like you'd see in Spider-Verse kind of stuff like that. And then there is things like cool Spider-Verse tie-ins and all sorts of cool stuff where Insomniac have got not under the skin, but under the mask of Spider-Man. They understand what makes Spider-Man Spider-Man. And if someone does that with Superman, I think, yeah, that would be exceptional. Like the article mentions, though, the difficult with the Superman game is Spider-Man, you learn to be Spider-Man. You've just got your powers. You're Miles Morales. You've never had this before. You're going through the learning curve, the growth curve, which is good because the audience goes along the growth curve with the character. Superman was born super. He's now a man, so you kind of feel he knows what he's doing with this shit. So you've got to break the back of that learning curve, but having it feeling natural, it is very difficult to do. But I still think, looking at Spider-Man, I still feel like video games and superheroes could go massively hand in hand. That said, as I don't know if it was Tito mentioned, Avengers, I mean, it's in the same cinematic universe as Spider-Man and has done exceptionally well. But in the video game universe, yikes. So, yeah, it could be poor. Hopefully it's not. You mean superhero movies before the Dark Knight trilogy? I do mean before the Dark Knight trilogy. That's a good shout. Hang on. Hey. Cheers. Just had a food delivery. Daniel didn't want to be on stream, so there's just a hand inside the door. Yeah, I do. Yeah, Dark Knight trilogy, one of the best trilogies ever, let alone just for superhero movies. Not the biggest fan of Dark Knight Rises, but yeah, Begins and Dark Knight, yes, please. Where did we get to? Chat's just strolled. I reckon a Superman game done to the quality of a Spider-Man game would be a roaring success. That's it, though. It's. I think Insomniac, whether they meant to or not, realised that it wasn't about the punching and the shooting and the whatever. It's having a good emotive story that you can relate to and then nailing that one core thing and doing that with Superman, having a good story. Yes, we know he's from Kansas or wherever it is. Yes, we know he crashed down in a spaceship or whatever. Just leave that shit. Put that shit to the side. Like we know that Batman's parents were killed in an alleyway. Okay, leave that shit. Give me a Batman emotive story. Yeah, we know Spider-Man, this, that, and the other. I love the way that the Spider-Man movies, the Homecoming, Far From Home, and whatever, those movies aren't really focused in on Peter Parker getting bitten by a spider. He was just Spider-Man already. We don't need to cross that shit. It's been done. Let's focus on a narrative. And if they do that with Superman, okay, we know he's got superpowers. We don't need to learn all that shit. Get rid of that. That's just chaff before you get to what we know is coming. We already know where the story gets to. Fast forward to there. If they can just focus on properly feeling the inertia of being that fucking big Man of Steel flying around, but then building some meaningful story on that, then that's good for me. Proper emotion. That's what we need. The big problem with superhero games is how do you make a video game which makes you feel powerful, but it's still a game? How do you have an element of risk when the titular character is the Man of Steel? He can't die. I mean, that's what it mentions in the article. So that's where you get the kryptonite or the whatever bits in. But then I think that's where you have to strip him back with, okay, he's not the one at risk here. Like Spider-Man has MJ. Superman has Lois Lane. You put the risk on the other characters, and you don't worry about hurting him physically. You tear him down from the inside. You break him down emotionally. You put his family members at risk, and you show that yes, he is indestructible, but not inside. You take away the things that he can't control, then he will crumble. And I think that's kind of the element that you go at it there. Just in the same way that the Dark Knight, it was more about, yeah, okay, he can crumble. He's just a man, just a rich guy. But you go after the people that he loves, and that hurts kind of even more kind of thing. I think that's where it is. You've seen The Last of Us, the game I always come back to when I'm talking about story because it's the best for me. It wasn't about what happens to the characters. It's about what happens to the people that the characters care about. That's where the emotion comes into it. And I think that's what you need to put that stuff into Batman and Superman. It's not about Batman. It's about someone comes along and beats up little old Alfred. You'd be fucking pissed. You need to kind of cash in on that emotion kind of thing. Where do we get to? Lots of comments. Only if he's a hero, not some edgelord. Yeah, I agree. Superman 64 did more damage to Superman than the kryptonite-based weapon has ever done. Can't be done with the right story. Can be done with the right story and characters. He can die, but he needs the right adversary to have the element of risk, as you say. His comics ran with this problem without any problems. I'm assuming a game can do it. Totally understand the dilemma and how to create the drama for the player. I think what I mean is an encounter with a single powerful adversary akin to a boss fight is one thing, but what is the filler? It's just not realistic to be fighting hundreds of powerful foes. They'll just be people. I mean, you just create your own reality, though, because we're buying into a reality of a Man of Steel. Change the narrative. If you're setting the landscape of the game, make it be that there are enemies that have just got suits that have kryptonite power, which basically means that, yeah, they're not made out of kryptonite and they don't all kill him, but they just have a better strength level akin to his. I mean, he's still going to kick their ass majority wise, but you just set your own goalposts before you start telling the story. Just because he is Superman, you kind of build the world that you're going to tell the story in before that. Spider-Man game story-wise was not earth-shattering, but it was effective, believable, and done with love and care. Fantastic experience, for sure. Miles Morales takes that and pushes it even further. Unless they make it an alien invasion, which defeats the purpose. Asim says, what Insomniac gets right with the Spider games is the essence and feel of not only the characters, but the universe too. Can be done with DC side too. Arkham series nailed it with Batman, superb. Superman-wise, in the right dev's hands, would be superb. I want Gotham City Imposters Remastered, man, I love that on PS3, says Ads. Platinum Games would be my choice, says Madge. Zelda, best game series story for me. Cry at every game. If only you'd told us that, Ads. Fair point regarding the filler stuff. Guess all boils down to the story and how that element of risk is introduced into even the normal enemies. Interesting. I'd personally love to see Rocksteady do a Superman, then nail the Arkham games and get the DC universe. So you guys have a lot of opinions. It's nice to see. It would be nice to see a good Superman game. Rocksteady, WB Games Montreal, whoever is going to be working on it, yes, please. We'll take one of those. Platinum, if Madge says that. Yeah, whatever. We'll take one. We'll take one. We just want to see a good Superman game. Superman deserves to be put into the same conversations as Spider-Man, as the Arkham series of games. So just bring it. Just bring it. You've had a bunch of games that you've started and stopped. You've clearly got a lot of ideas. Just give us that with a bit of narrative and we will take it from there. Tell you what else we're going to take. A break from Twitch because that is the end of the show. Nice. Thank you for joining us for another episode of The Scoop. It's Tuesday, so that means no additional streams today. What we are going to do, though, is find someone lovely that you can watch along with. One of our friends will drop a raid on them, give them a few extra viewers, just drop in, say hello, say you've come over from ICU, wish them a good day, and then duck out if you don't, or stick around for a few games if you enjoy what they're selling. If you're going to pick up what they're putting down, that's fine. But it's nice to join the raid, and you get a few extra points for that. Before that, though, we will finish up. As mentioned, no extra games for today. Tomorrow, we will be back. And this is where I would usually say, Bibby, before we leave, is there anything you want to add? But Bibby, before we leave, is there anything you want to add? And is there anything you're going to be playing tomorrow? Do tell us more.
So first of all, yes, we will be playing some stuff tomorrow. Straight after the scoop, I'll go live with some Dark Alliance, and then obviously the guys will be joining us probably after 4 o'clock. I'm going to speak to them away from the stream so we can get some more information. But yeah, we'll be doing some Dark Alliance tomorrow. Also, in the scoop, if you do want to help shape our show, there's 2 ways you can do that. First of all, find us on social medias at Ice Cream World across all major social media platforms, or find us in our Discord. All the links that you need will be in the video description if you are watching this on demand or listening to any of us, listening to this on any of our podcast services. All we need from you is a URL plus your thoughts and impressions. We will then give you our thoughts and impressions on the very next show, which will be at what time tomorrow, Mr. Graham Day?
That will be at 10 a.m. Ish. 10 a.m. ish. We go live at 10 a.m. ish each and every single weekday. Today was about 11:30, 12:15. It's fine. It's okay. It's 10 a.m. ish. So we do go live at 10 a.m. ish because we work in the video games industry. The work stuff comes first and the streams fitting around that, which is why we massively appreciate you guys joining us every day, doing things like dropping subs. Not even that level, just joining us for the conversation. It means a lot. We genuinely appreciate you. Thank you very much. There was a good comment that I did see. Plus, why can't a possible game not involve Clark Kent? He's an important part of the character. Exactly. Anyone that's played through the Spider-Man game will realize that most of the narrative revolves around Peter Parker, not Spider-Man. And that's where you're building the stories. But yeah, we know we can do it. Do you know, if WB Montreal came, we'd fix it. So it's that easy for us to do. WB Montreal, it's over to you. It's your time. Do this now. Okay, we are going to drop off. We're going to raid someone else. So we'll be back 10 a.m.-ish tomorrow for the next episode of The Scoop. And then we'll have some D&D Dark Alliance. Nice. Until then, have yourselves a fantastic day. And baby, what are they doing?
And stay frosty.